Live. Thank you everyone for being patient. I am so sorry for the hiccup. It's 100% on me. I thought I had everything organized, but it turns out I'm only allowed one person on the video. So Angel and Monique they're going to be in the chat. So if you guys want to check their stuff out, they're all there. But today we have the beautiful Danielle, and I'm so glad. Tracy will be in the chat too, I'm sure. So we just have to kind of regroup and figure out what we're going to do. So what Danielle and I are going to do is we're going to share our spiritual techniques, how we do translations, and our journey. So for everyone, if you guys have questions, please feel free to put it in the chat. If you see me looking, it's just because I'm watching. I'll just show you what I'm looking at. It's just I'm watching the computer for chat and call questions. So if anyone has questions, please let us know. Danielle, did you want to start with your journey, like how you, because you're a psychic medium. Do you want to explain to the listeners what that is?
I'd love to. So, what a psychic medium is. So, I really believe that every individual's journey can be open to being very unique on their path. For myself, I truly understood that I was perceiving energy at a very young age. The first kind of moment was when I was 4, and I was living in Nova Scotia at the time. And I was able to perceive that there was this vibration in between the physical objects. So for me, it kind of started there and it evolved. I was in high school, trying to get good grades. And I talked to my dad about this at the time too. And God love him, he really guided me. I'm very close with my father. And he wasn't dismissive to it. But he also didn't kinda know how to leave me with it. He was just kinda held space, which was really beautiful in itself, and I think really gave me room to grow and shine. And, I had been seeing silhouettes of people, but I didn't know that it was, like, in spirit. It was gray, it wasn't defined enough to know, like, "Oh, it's my passed on grandmother. Oh, it's this relative or it's, oh, it's so and so." It was just kind of, like, more subtle at that point. Um, so when I was in my early 20s, when I moved to Moncton, close to a little before 2014, but 2014 was a big year for my gifts. And I won't take too much airtime on this, just kind of a quick synopsis of it. I had started to kind of be around people who really believed in law of attraction. I felt safe to really explore uh, my abilities. And I was working with tools, divination tools such as Oracle and tarot cards. And what I would do, because I recognized before that I was sensitive to clairsentience, clear feeling, or clairvoyance, clear seeing. I knew I just had it. And I would sense before I pulled the card, okay, like kind of hover over it, like hold the deck and hover over a card, and like, what am I feeling before I turn it or flip it? And I would do it for myself, and I would do it for free for my close confidants, so my friends, loved ones, coworkers, anyone who was comfortable and cool with it, open to it. And that was how I built my trust and my language with spirit. So I want to pause there and kind of let you have a moment, Kelliena, with that.
That's really beautiful. That's a wonderful way to train, just to feel the translation. And that's such a deeper way to connect with spirit. Like, because when we feel something, it's beyond words, it's beyond how we can really express in here. That's beautiful. What for your journey, when the souls that came to you, when did you move in New Brunswick? When you were 4?
Yeah, yeah, good question. So I go by Maritime Medium, and it's interesting that you asked that. So I was born in St. John. My family lived in St. Stephen for the first year, and then they moved to Portuguese Cove, Nova Scotia. We were there like 7, 8 years. Um, Parents separated. Dad was in PEI. Mom moved to Cambridge Narrows. So it was a bit of between provinces. So Maritime Medium, I feel very destined to be. Like I have had these experiences from a young age. I've been in multiple schools within the Maritimes. I've had experiences from young ages growing up in all of these provinces. So New Brunswick becoming forefront. I would say grade 2 for me. So think 8-ish.
With that,
Cambridge
sorry, I
Narrows
think there's a
School.
delay with my audio. Yeah, that's
No worries.
when you're going down. I think you'll know what I mean. Like, do you notice that when you go to certain locations, it's a different frequency with it? Do you remember
Mhm.
like the different provinces? Did you feel like there's a different energy for all the provinces?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I totally see that. Hmm.
with it.
Um,
When in your journey with the cards, when When I know one thing when the guardians tell me when we use cards, they always translate it as a map. They're like the cards are just a map to get you to focus on where the aura is to get you going. What was when you first got your set of cards? Do you remember? Was it a tarot or was it oracle? What one did you start with?
Good question. I believe it was a Doreen Virtue Oracle card. I was drawn to her more kind of like super Christian kind of development and flow for anyone who kind of follows her. Um, and I found a couple of her books quite helpful, like early in my experiences. I'm not sure where she is now, just for kind of a gentle awareness around that. Um, on her own journey, and that's cool, or influence from outside forces, whatnot, whatever that could be. Um, but I do believe it was like a dream. It was more blue, like navy blue, Doreen Virtue Dream Oracle deck first.
Oh, that's a beautiful deck. Beautiful deck. Did you ever get into tarot?
Yes, and thanks to you, I really quite enjoy your YouTube videos. Like I'll be doing my dishes or whatever chore, usually dishes though. And I love putting on your tarot. And what I find with your wisdom is you help me deepen it. And I didn't realize kind of the like known things with like the swords or air aura or energy, and you really do deepen my wisdom with it. I actually mentioned your name last night. I was on a really cool live stream with Jeanette O'Neill Burns. She runs Goddess Gateway Guild, and I was saying that she had one of her clients who I did a live reading for, who wanted to know more about tarot. I'm like, oh, you should have Kelliena Smith on from Nova Scotia. Like this is her cup of tea. So
Oh,
you may be getting a DM if you haven't already. I think she's had a busy full day. She's a busy mom of four. Jeanette, I've known her a long time, like 10 plus years, and I know her personally and professionally, and I have a soft spot, genuinely for her. I do believe in her the same way I believe in you, truly.
oh, that's
So,
beautiful. That's
yes,
beautiful. I want to do
yeah,
a
she's
couple
cool.
shout outs because we have a couple of people
Mm-hmm.
in here.
Let's do it.
One special shout I want to give out is to Heidi Lynn. Heidi Lynn, I think she's going to post a link here. There is a situation where there's a fundraiser right now where their house burned, so they're trying to raise some money.
Oh,
So I think, and Heidi works at Calling Corners in Truro. So if Heidi, if you get a chance to put your link in the chat, just to bring awareness to anyone with that, because they're in a situation where they're trying to heal and figure out where to go. And we also have Everglow. Monique is here. Please feel free to put your
yes, I
website,
love
your
her.
information. Everything is here. Tracy is here. Thank you,
Mhm.
Tracy. Laura's here,
Trace.
LA. Gertie is here. Thank you, Gertie. Sorry. The problem, I'm gonna look this way because I'm just looking at who's here because I can see more
Mm.
on this side than through my phone. Where the Angel is here. Hi,
Mhm.
Angel. I will figure out um everything. Craigslist, please send the link. Yeah, and Tracy's posting everyone's
Oh.
handle
Mhm.
on there with it. Now, for you, Danielle, too, you also you on your YouTube, you do a lot of spiritual content too. Did you want to talk a bit about that? All your work, all the beautiful interviews you've done, and
Thank you so much for that. I have been called more to YouTube lately. I've been kind of like hidden in plain sight in a very like true to my own heart being, like more on the kind of there's like if you're a social media geek, like I like to kind of post in the community, like that's where I feel safe to right now. There's a purpose and a reason to a rhythm to why I'm kind of more there than video. But I will be going more video soon. The interviews that you're speaking to um, date back more to the heart song that I continuously feel pulled to, which is I hear Caden. Kelliena, I may need to let you take over for a second. For anyone who may not know, Caden's my son, and he's my priority. So I'll be right back. Is that
yeah,
okay?
no
You
worries.
guys
I
do
totally
things.
understand. No
Cool. Just give me a
worries.
minute, guys, and
Uh,
be right back. We'll pick right up.
sure. No, I totally understand. For the listeners, thank you so much for coming and thank you so much for being patient with me. I don't know what happened. I thought it was gonna go smooth and it did not. So what I'll do is for Monique, for Angel, for everyone. Oh, hi Annette George, thank you. Thank you for coming in. I'll figure out a way to get everyone on. If you guys have any tips like how to do it, because I think there's a way we could do it through Zoom or something. Hi LA, I'm glad you're here. So if you guys have questions for your own spiritual or psychic abilities or your psychic training, let me know. One of the things I want to do with this, I want to have a panel of other readers or other healers where we could share our techniques. Hi, beautiful. Whereas, I'm just going into explaining like the intention of this series that we're doing, and I will figure out how we could do it where we could do the proper panel for everyone. Thank you. So my intention or my hope with this is to create a safe space for everyone to learn different techniques and to see, well, what resonates for you and how can it help with your connection to your angels, because I'm sure you know too, like we do connect to angels. We feel them and they're here, they're speaking to us, and there's so many beautiful techniques like what you described with the cards when you were working with the cards, translating the aura field, then interpreting the cards. That's powerful. So what I'm going to do today is I want to focus on, now I hope to do an hour, but where it's the two of us, it might be a little harder to do the hour. So we'll just let it flow and see where it goes. If you guys have any questions on psychic training or ways to connect to your angels, let us know. What we'll do, Danielle, if it's okay, maybe what we'll do is if you want to share like a psychic exercise you do, I'll share a psychic exercise and then we'll take questions would that work for you? Okay,
That's
perfect.
great. I'm very comfortable in that space.
Perfect.
So psychic training that I do, to be honest, I explain this as much as I can. So for me, the baseline beat is I believe that we are all spiritual beings having, a human experience. So we are spirits, to have a supernatural experience. I'm like, oh my God, that's the most natural thing you could ever have. We are a spirit. Like, why would we not have that experience? It's kind of like that to me. So I find it very not as it presents, as in when we do have those senses, we're returned to who we truly are. We're more in who we are. We're more in who our being actually is.
Right.
So for psychic exercises, the best wisdom that I can share that I always find myself kind of repeating, which is why I care to hear, is and I was discussing this last night with Jeanette on her Goddess Gateway Guild. Um, I find when people really want a message from spirit, and I totally understand it, I've had loss in my life that has been tragic. I am across from people. I've been doing this professionally for 10 years, not as goddess-esque as yours. Kelliena has 20 plus years. She's been doing this a long time. She has a book. She really knows what she's talking about. Holding space like this is very sacred. And so for me, the wisdom that I keep witnessing is when people really, really want that sign, we hold on to the reins too tight. So you've noticed me doing this for the last few minutes. And my wisdom is, as a medium and as an intuitive, is you have to let go of the reins more. You have to let it flow. And okay, it wants to go more left, it wants to go more right, it wants to go more straight. You have to work with the reins a little bit more. And as in, you think of like horse reins, if you're unfamiliar with kind of the particular way that I am speaking to, but I trust that you are. It's more like learn to flow with it instead of tell it how to go. It's like an ocean wave, It's like, okay, the wave is going the way it's going. You move with it or you sink or swim. So,
Yeah.
with intuition, I think it's very important to be relaxed, and I truly believe that the best translations come through when you are relaxed. So, I care to often play like intuitive music that's very like chill or kind of has like soft beats, and for me, that really brings me to that relaxed state where um, you know, client can relax, I can relax, and I can just listen and observe and feel for 10 minutes and then show them what's pen to paper and be like, I didn't know you from a hole in the wall, and like here we are. There's proof. So
Right.
things that you can't Google, that's a real
Right.
intuitive. Hmm.
Right. I love the reins. Like that's beautiful. Like how to feel that, or that was, thank you for sharing that. That was really good. It's funny you say the music too, because that's probably there's two things I do every day to make sure the aura is clear. One is I constantly have binaural beats playing throughout the whole day. The first one I always do is do a clearing one, and then I look for another one that has an intention to it. So if we're looking for love, health, abundance, whatever we're doing, I think that energy is so important because
Mm-hmm.
part of my training is it's sort of like energetic maintenance. Like we need to clear the aura. We need to make sure the aura is moving. It's the same as water. If we put water in a bowl and leave it, it's going to go. It'll become unhealthy. So if we move the energy, the sound, music, working with singing bowls, team shots, anything like that, it will move the aura so the energy can become healthy. And it's the energy detoxes too. It can release the energy that's not serving it. The other aura I'm really getting into is Qigong. I think Qigong is a really, this is a shout out, Mimi Kiemer, fantastic. She is an amazing teacher. She's on YouTube too. I've taken some of her classes on Vimeo. She's amazing. And I think learning to connect what methods resonates for us, it's an energy that can it makes you stronger and it allows the energy to flow way more powerful with it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, was there anything? What's your favorite psychic tool? Like, what's the number one tool that you go to?
Oh, it's gonna be funny. um, so not funny at first, funny in the second part. I really resonate with white buffalo sage if I really need to clear. The
Yeah,
funny component, I always think of Walmart when I think of the example of when I use it because it's like I like because of how sensitive I am sensory and visual, like I can go a lot of places and be fine around like I'm a very social being, but I also resonate in my own energy. Like I like the balance of both. Um and when I go to Walmart, oh my God, Kelliena, and I need to smudge. I can't come home clean. There, people leave their shit there.
that's so funny.
It's so
That's so
funny.
funny.
I don't know, but I'm like, why are people so like? And it's not that I even witness anything. It's not. I'm just like I don't witness anything. Like I'm like, oh, that like nasty nothing. I'm just, but I can't go in there and come out feeling the same way. And it's interesting to me. Um,
That's really interesting.
it's interesting to me. So I guess white buffalo sage would be probably my preferred.
Mhm.
Um, I do work with the bells that you recommended. I use that in my bedroom a lot, just kind of keeping resonance clean and more to my frequency. I have a Tibetan small singing bowl, more throat chakra kind of
Mhm.
resonance, that kind of speak your truth, wisdom. I mean, I like all of it. So I just kind of flow with where I'm called and drawn. But if I had to pick one, it would return to the white buffalo sage. I resonate there for me.
Laura,
And you?
LA is saying the same. She
Yes.
feels the same, but at a movie
Yeah.
theater. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
That
Yeah.
is. That makes sense.
Yeah, I used to work at Superstore. I was
Yeah.
there working on and off for 16 years until I built up the
Mm,
reading so I could quit and focus only on the reading. And I
cool.
remember the guardians were always like, no, because I started there when I was 15. So when I started, the guardians were always like, no, this is training. Like you're here to train and you're here to translate the aura and the deal. But I would feel the same way. Like I would come home and it would be so like energetically heavy. Like I'd always have to walk. Like if I worked till 11, it wasn't far. I was like 10 minutes from the store, but I would still walk home because I needed to ground it because it was just too much,
Yes.
too much energy. Oh,
Hmm.
Monique just said there are cleansing baths are her favorite. I want Monique. Do you have that at your store? Because that might be something for the listeners if they want to go.
Heart.
And Laura, it's a really interesting to say the movie theater because we have such strong emotional reactions. Like it's so much energy, so it
Mm,
makes a lot of sense with all that.
yeah.
That's a really good one. One tip that I do, which I think is really helpful, is tap your feet like when you're there, because the energy
Mm,
points at the bottom of your feet will ground it, and it will might make it a little bit easier than in the moment. With as much as that we want to bring out our tingshaws and clear the aura
yeah.
with it in some situations, with it, be discreet and clear the aura. Now I know this went much quicker than what we thought. Was there anything, Danielle, that you think that we should focus on, or?
Well, I think that we really came into this with an intention of how to connect to your angels. So I feel a part of where we could and should focus is what is the difference between angelic frequency and like mediumship frequency. And so when I'm explaining frequency to my clients, often for me, I often think of ways to describe how, like I'm here in Fredericton, New Brunswick. That's home base for me these days. And I think of the analogy of the radio station of, like we have all of these different stations that coexist in the same plane or same space, but you only hear the one you're tuned into. We have the rock station, we have the Christian station, we have, the country. Like, do you want angels? Do you want mediumship? Do you want human? Which frequency are you on, you're going to hear the one you're tuned into or perceive the one you're tuned into. So
Right.
I think the balance and blessing back would be for your thoughts and wisdom on, what is the difference between the mediumship plane and angelic plane? There's a lot I think we could get into there, and I trust where you want to go with it.
That's a fantastic question because I get asked that a lot.
Mhm.
Um, so for me, how I do the readings is they the guardians when they come forward, they make it really clear that they are not those that we would have known in this world. So when they
Mhm.
come in, their aura fields are really the visual I usually get is some form of, and the best way I could compare it to in this world is starlight. Because there's different translations. There's ocean starlight, fire
Mhm.
starlight, gold. Like there's so many different ones. Like I could probably spend like 10 minutes explaining all the different auras that they show as in guardian form. So guardians, when they come in, they are the ones that come with us into this world. They are the ones that are protectors or teachers. They never tell us what to do. What they often do is they will give us a heads up on what power we have, what past lives we have, what wisdom. So when they do the translation, when they present the information, it's about reconnecting to that. And then when a loved one goes into spirit, their aura field
Mhm.
is sometimes that when they come forward, I can see their human form, but more times
Mhm.
than not, I'll see their spirit form. And depending on where they are in the journey, with spirit or where they are, they will have different frequencies. Sometimes they will have they look for me, they often look like, I can see outlines of white light, and then through
Mhm.
there, I will see the starlight on the external, which is what they're working on the other part. Now, there's also, a lot of times when I do a translation, ancestral aura will come forward, and these ancestors could be like 500, 1,000 years ago, or which I thought was really interesting, it could be a past life ancestor. So if you had a past life, say in Japan, past your ancestors from Japan can come into the translation. And when they come in, it's like, well, no, Danielle learned ABC. We want her to connect to this because it can. What they're really big about there's energy cords that connects us to our wisdom and to our power. So the guardians are always about how can we in this human incarnation trigger that vibration so we can access the knowledge, one, that we've already earned, two, to expand our power and to go further into to who we are. Where when loved ones come in, they do have access to that, but their role with us, and I mean, loved ones in spirit can definitely protect us, guide us, all that. Like the same, they can do a lot of what the guardians do. It's just the guardians are a little bit more focused on, well, what's your mission in this world? What are you connecting
Mhm.
to? Where loved ones are more, they want to comfort us. And sometimes they want to, when they come in to do a translation, the loved ones in spirit will focus a lot on how to, it's more that there's certain wisdom, or they want us to focus on another family member to connect to that aura. So that's a really good question, and the different frequencies, because there's also different auras where other souls are connecting to different dimensions, different wisdom, either connecting, because there's also soul families where you can have a soulmate daughter in a different world that's communicating with
Mhm.
you, and that's a whole other aura field with it. But though that's a really good question, that's the difference between medium and guardian with that
Ah.
with that part.
I feel relief hearing it. There was a couple things that you shared that were particularly interesting to me as another, heightened medium. Um, so one being, I kept thinking of the difference between how you distinctively really noted, the passed on loved one being more the comforter, and then one kind of being more the like amplifier of your own light. And both important. beyond, imperative. Um, but interesting. And I'm going to be contemplating that, I think, for a longer period in my heart too. Thank you for that wisdom.
No.
Um, and I totally hear, like, there was just so many takeaways from that. I think, to understand that we're much more conscious and expansive than it appears, and to honor that in all of us helps you to appreciate more of what does it actually mean
Mhm.
to be a sentient, loving being, and what do you want
Yeah.
to show up as? How do you want to love somebody else? Really, um, it's more about do you amplify their light?
Yeah, that's a really important question. I think that's ultimately what we're all really here for, is to remember that we're love. And this is one guardian, this is years and years ago, said to me, this world's a school. This world is, others are too, really.
Hmm.
A lot of us, we go through these pockets of aura where we go through what we're not in order to get back to who we are, and the wisdom that we
Hmm.
get with that journey, it serves us much more later. But guardians have said that before, where it's we're to get back to our power, which is love. Like that's what a lot of them say. So we are love. Like that's who we are, and we're just having different experiences to go further into that. With
So
that.
good.
No, thank you so
So
much. Was
good.
there any questions or anything else that you wanted to guide this? Because I'm just really letting this flow with it, where my first plan
Mhm.
kind of like we'll just trust it and go.
I love it. I know you mentioned binaural beats before. Do you
Mhm.
have any particular wisdom that's personal on breath work? Because I have a lot of girlfriends who are intuitive that are very into it. Like I've done yoga before, I know a couple basics, breathe in this many seconds, breathe out this many seconds. Is there anything that you found that has amplified your intuitive journey? Because I think for our
Oh,
following here, I think that could be something, that you've noticeably um been aware of that has influenced that? Or is there anything that's honest about that journey that has been a blessing in that regard? I think that's a really cool kind of consideration too.
that's a really great question. I've done one technique, and I forget the gentleman's name. It was on YouTube. It was this documentary that I watched on Qigong, and there was this Qigong master in the video where he emphasized on doing like deep belly breathing, because I think there's an angel. If you're here, you would be able to correct me if I'm wrong. I think there's 8 meridians along the stomach. So he would do this breathing where you breathe in your nose, you breathe in, and what you want to do is fill your stomach up with so much air that it stretches your stomach. And in the video, he said you want, like, he called it a Buddha belly. Like you want to really get your stomach out, because it would stretch your stomach, and it would open up the meridians. And in the video, he claimed that he could do this and it would actually put him to sleep. And you would do these breaths 9 times. So you breathe in, hold till your stomach is extended, hold it for 5 seconds, and then slowly exhale through your mouth. And you would do this very slowly 9 times. And that
Mhm.
one is if I'm really overwhelmed, that exercise is really powerful. And what I do, the way I usually do it is I do it when I'm laying in bed, like right before I sleep, and you focus it,
Mhm.
and it's so effective. It's a really, it's one of the, like instant results when you're doing the breath work through that. With it, that I really like.
Gorgeous.
How about you? What breathing work do you do that you connect to?
Really, it's just more of a like, and I resonate here more, especially like the last several years. Like, I'm really just keep the regulatory flow really chill and really calm. And it's not a particular technique. It's not a like, oh, I don't do the like Wim Hof, ice bath breathing. I believe in it. It's just, and I really believe in Tai Chi. I'm really drawn to Tai Chi. I find I listen to music and it's like sometimes I just need to be like in my living room, listen to certain kind of music as an intuitive and just like see what comes through because it does kind of let it loose. In terms of particular breathing, I think it's just more that relaxed state again. I don't know if it's a like, breathe in 3, let out 4 kind of thing for me. There could be more of a rhythm to it that I'm not conscious to, that is the consistent. I haven't been studied in my gifts, I don't know, but on purpose, it's just more, am I relaxed? Am I chill? And that is more the state. And I think that's why I'm able to go where I go, because um, I have really continuously come to appreciate and understand the beauty of what comes in when you are in that flow and that relaxation. It's very true to my being. I am a very chilled being, but I love to laugh. I love to have my fun too. I can be fierce and feisty if I have to be or want to be. But my true nature is very relaxed. And
Yeah.
I think that's a part of why I have the gifts that I do, because things can just come to me, and it's not forced, it's flow.
Yeah. No, you've always had this beautiful goddess energy and so connected into it's beautiful. And thank you so much for sharing your gift and thank you so much for coming on. Like it means a lot. And I'm going to do the original panel that we had, but yeah, thank you so much. Was there anything else that you want to say in closing?
Yeah, I mean, it's really up to you. Like, I don't know if you still want to do lives or if you kind of want to wrap it there, because I'm kind of hearing we
Yeah,
kind
do
of
you
go
want
two
to?
different
We could do
ways.
live if you want.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very comfortable with that. I think that it depends on who's kind of, here. I think that our following is cool with that. I'm certainly comfortable with that. I have the space to right now. So, and I do
Good.
believe and trust in our wisdoms. So I'm really cool there. If there's any questions or if anyone's kind of wondering wisdoms or gifts, because I think also, like, one of the things that we did last night with Jeanette O'Neill Burns, the Goddess Gateway Guild, is when I was translating, and I think you'll really appreciate this, Kelliena. I know Monica and Angel and Tracy would value this too, because we all have that same level. Um, is like I was explaining after I got through my translation of, like, I aimed to share, this is what it feels like, this is what I saw, this is why I got to this point, because it helps them understand the medium that they are. Like, we are
Mhm.
all intuitives, and when we're set free from um the weight of the lessons that are in our way, I think we're very free to be who we truly are.
Yeah.
So it kind of explaining what is happening for us may help others understand what's happening for them. I think that's kind of what I'm aiming to correlate there as the bridge of wisdom to when we connect. If you care to, I'm comfortable to,
Yeah,
and no
I think
pressure
that's
either way.
beautiful. Yeah, we'll do it.
Yeah, cool.
If anyone has any questions, please feel free to put it in the chat and we'll translate it for you and see what comes in. Yeah, that's a what you just said there, Danielle, that was really important because it's with her explaining everything and where it comes from, that's really important with that, especially for the seeker if they're knowing. I'm just gonna look this. I'm just gonna check to see if there's on this
Do
side because
you?
sometimes
Yes.
because I don't know if it's like
Oh my God, Kalina,
the
so rude. How could you?
sorry. I'm just
Imagine,
trying to see.
imagine.
Yeah, because it was just such a the chat was just so like I was like, what is going on? Yeah, I
Corn.
don't.
Yeah. Oh my God, you were on it. So for those who may not know, like, Kalina was on top of it. She sent the link, hours beforehand. 15-minute check-in. Like, it was definitely kind of a, like, outside source. But on my path, doesn't have to be yours. Discern your own assumptions or takeaways from it. I'm a big believer in independent thinking, and I think that's what consciousness is. We expand each other, and especially from the heart. So, I mean, she was just completely on top of it as always. And there was definitely some outside sources. So I was like, okay, like, patience, trusting, wisdom, does everyone need a few more minutes? Yeah, it's Friday, we've all had a long week. And just to, you know, there's so many lessons, to know who believes in you, supports you, who's calm and cool with it, and to watch that and reaffirming that. I think there's so many lessons in it.
Yeah, it's
That can be taken
really
in many directions.
we're starting to get the question. So I'm wondering if there's like a delay in the when
Great.
we say it, and that's why I think
Could
it's
be.
happening.
Could be.
So the
Okay,
first
got it.
one is
Sure.
I'll let you answer this where you're a
Sure.
mom. Tracy's
Mhm.
asking, do you find kids are more psychic than when you were growing up?
Now, in general,
I think so. I think she's comparing it like the generations. I think she's comparing it to when, like in when you were a kid, and then compared to now. If you notice any difference with the children. That's a good question, Trace.
it's a great question because I think there's a couple layers to it. Um,
Yeah.
it's tough because I was super heightened, and so for me, everything was much more amplified, and I just knew. So
Mhm.
I definitely felt kind of like more aware, more ahead of time, more on purpose from the get go. Like I don't think I've
Mhm.
ever wavered in that. Um, However, what she's speaking to, so like, I have, a young son in elementary school, and he and I have seen the same thing spiritually at the same time once before, angelic related. Same place, we were in nature, and it was just amazing, and like it's a formative memory for both of us. I might tell you about that more kind of in privacy
Yeah.
if I haven't before, Kalina. More angelic kind of moment. But as a tone, yes. If I had to choose one or the other, if I was going to be committed to this or that, sure. Yeah, I think consciousness is rising, um,
Mhm.
and they are more psychic. And I also feel that the collective consciousness is there's a lot more acceptance to spirituality. Like when I was a
Mhm.
teenager and I told my dad that I had these gifts, he was not dismissive to it, but he didn't know that you could go to chapters and that there's books on mediums, who have gone
Right.
through this journey before. And now when I have, parents who are coming to me, whether it's one-on-one or in group settings or whatever, or I meet them in a social setting, I'm like, "Hey, did you know that you can it's that accessible? You can get it on Amazon."
Right.
Do you need free advice? You can call me, like, let's go for coffee or dinner, and I'll, people
Right.
who have those answers. It's much more accessible. So to return to kind of the real focus there of, is the new kind of wisdom and elevation coming in, incarnating, are they elevated? I do believe that there is a continuous expansion in that regard. I also think there will be continuous challenges that will rise us to that.
Mhm.
So I believe very much so in like equal balance in that regard. Um, but I mean, there's of course going to be exceptions. There's always high frequency beings. But to answer it, yeah, I would say so. What do you think, Kalina?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would say one thing I notice about the children in this generation, the ones that are coming in, I feel like it's like the environment's much better for them because I grew up in the 80s. So in with us, we didn't have like Amazon, YouTube. So it was very much like if we wanted to learn something, we'd have to go to the library. But back then, the only access I would have was way more like the Catholic Church. So that's where I got, well, sort of got some of my answers from until later on. It wasn't until I was I started when I was 17, so in the 90s, things became more easier to get, like the tarot and angel cards, and then I could develop it more. But it is, I think, with the children that are coming now, I think they are more stronger than we were as kids because I think the environment is more better for them. Like they can bring that power with them because what you said, the conscious, like the aura field is way more stronger and more nurturing for them with it. So I would say that the children being born now are way more connected than we were, and from what I've seen with that. So I hope that helps, Trace. Now
Yeah,
LA
I
is
love that she
asking if,
asked it.
yeah, that was a good question. LA is asking if mediumship is for me, and because she goes, I think I would be scared sometimes. Now, so I know with LA, she's a Pisces. She's very powerful. She's a very strong psychic. So I'll let you answer, Danielle, for LA.
Sure. Just be a moment. Mhm. Mhm. So Repeat the question one more time. I'm seeing the answer, but I need the question so I know how to kind of connect it.
Sure. She's wondering if mediumship is for her. She
Mhm.
thinks that she might be scared sometimes.
Okay, first I want to honor, before I share what I'm seeing for you, I want to honor that that's a very common thing. Like, there's a lot of fear around mediumship and people who are sensitive to it. Like, I heard that question all the time. Like, I'm 10 years in, Kelliena, you're 20 plus years in. So you like, plus we have had experiences for much longer than this. So we know ourselves and we were exposed to a lot of wisdom with it. But that's one of the more common kind of returns to it. So I've been grateful and fortunate to have more so, very overwhelmingly more so, very positive experiences. And I hope that's been the main case for you too, Kelliena. Um,
Yeah.
good. And so, but with ULA, the thing that they were showing, it was kind of cute. So if you could just like carry around with you this like little bag of like intuition, of like instincts, and if you could open it up and see the good and then close it again and you can carry on. It's almost like it's your little like coin purse or something. It
Oh,
feels very
interesting.
like that was the kind of the like it was cute. And that's what made me
Yeah.
smile when I was watching it. I'm like, open it, positive, close it. Open, positive, close it. But carry it with you. Um the thing is, so I know Kelliena, you had mentioned that she's a Pisces, but or they are like to consider, you know, um I think the main things that, like, I always return to, and I hope that this is clear for you too, LA already, like, know where you are more sensitive. Like, for myself, I'm visual and sensory primarily. I have had audio experiences, but that's not where, my primary communication experiences with spirit. When I do, it's more phonetic, it's very, like, broken. As in,
Mhm.
like, if they're talking about astral projection, it's very, like, astral project. It's very, like, choppy in my experience. That's not everyone's. So again, returning to for you, know you and know yours. But I think to believe in the awakened um like life and goodness of like the good messages coming through, and if you could take it in like a little purse, like some people keep their little like crystals, like my son and I, like we wear crystals and stones, like they're in his backpack, like it's there's things like that. Um, but you don't need those things. I think it's more the consciousness that goes to it. I do believe in the frequency that they emit. Um, but more underlying than that, it's more um the relaxed possibility, I think, of exploring that you can open it up and it can be good. Because I think that the fear for many people is we're going to open up, it's going to be bad. And they showed the coin purse you're going to open up, it's going to be good. And they were very particular about that. So that would be my blessing to you. And if there's a way to have a little coin purse where you open up your intuition, and wherever you're going, or if you're on break, and have a little reminder in there, even if it's a little like statement of like, I believe in my intuition to connect me to the good, like something like that, whatever you need. Um,
Yeah.
and know you, that would be my wisdom there. And that's what they're showing. And I believe in Kalina's gift to amplify that
That's
too, knowing you too.
that's beautiful. Yeah. She the coin purse also me like when you were saying that, Danielle, one thing like I when you said that the coin also shows like it's her abundance too. It's an energy like she has an abundant of intuition and abundant of ability to do it. So that's and thank you. And then we have another question from Annette George. Annette George is beautiful. She is very wise. She is asking for any guidance for me with mediumship and healing. Whatever. And LA just said beautiful. Thank you. So thank you, Danielle. Um, did you want to translate Annette George first, and then because she's asking for any guidance? Sorry, any guidance for her with mediumship and healing.
I'm glad she focused there because before even seeing the second part of mediumship and healing, just any guidance for me was kind of where I was guided towards first. My feeling and my sense is very like simplification and to the past. So, in that order right now for her path, it really is simplifying. I think she needs to like I don't know what she's letting go of. I don't know if it's a property. I don't know if it's something like really like setting herself free from commitment. And it looks like connecting um to more her like simplification, very about taking responsibility off her shoulders. Um, so for you and at my to put it more tangibly, I feel like you require more ease and looking at is there a way to amplify ease in your life that is, you know, letting the universe take the reins, signing something over that is a blessing for all involved? Because I feel like there's something there. It's like a signing off of like letting something bigger go so that it's not on you. There's a feeling like that for me in your aura.
Yeah, that was beautiful. And one thing I for Annette, I would with the mediumship and healing the guardians, we're just adding that she says that you're going to see the auras in more detail. So when you see the flashes of light, you're going to see integration of sometimes when they cross the chords, we can get two images in one where it doesn't make sense. So she just wants to give a heads up that your visions are going to come to you first through random thoughts, and then it will expand for your mediumship abilities, just so that you're comfortable with the translation. The next question is from Beautiful Beans and Gifts. She's looking for any guidance for me with mediumship and healing.
I feel for you, you need an outside perspective. I feel like you're too close to things right now, and I think that you need an outer perspective. So anything that resonates with that for you. So, for example, in my own world, what I have found effective in moments when I required that is, like a quick day trip outside of where I live to somewhere that's more of a vacation spot and just like decompress. Whether it's by the ocean for the day with a journal and like favorite snacks. Stop by a favorite cafe, just be free for a day. I feel like you need an outside perspective on something. I think you're a little too close to something to see how it is. 'Cause I think you're going to get better light on where you need to focus and like it's almost like in the arts like performing arts, you have the ability with the lighting to put more light on something or to dim it and take away light from something. I feel like right now you need an outside perspective in order to put the full amplification on where it's supposed to be and to dim it where it does not belong. So for example, sometimes we need to be more grateful for things. I don't think it's like that. I think it's a little bit more real and complex for you to honor your journey truly. But I would recommend finding a way that works for you to get yourself an outside perspective, whether you have an honest friend who gives you that take that's like always not what you think or whatever, um, or if you need a day away or both. Um, I would think like that right now and then kind of see what your refreshed perspective is on the same situation after that. I'm drawn there for you when you ask. Kalina?
Yeah, that's beautiful. And beautiful beams and gifts. They're also showing an aura that it's like the one of the auras they're presenting is like the crack of dawn. There's a new dawn breaking, and that you're opening up more energy than you know because she's showing a crack of dawn with that. And then we'll do one more question. I think this is the last one. It's Brenda. She's asking, I would love some guidance. I have no idea if I have any gifts, but weirdly, I feel like I do. LOL, thank you. So she feels she has gifts. So do you want you to translate first?
Totally.
Excuse me.
Um,
They're going.
do you want to go first? I'm getting translations too. Do you want to go first? I feel like you're drawn
They're
there first.
what they're doing for Brenda, she shows your third eye is opened, and what they're
Mhm.
showing here is that you are. She goes, you are very connected. You're very gifted. She says that you are expanding. So there's two things. The first aura field is you are connecting to a lot of past life translation or past life wisdom, and in this aura, she says that you're remembering who you are, the wisdom that you already have. So she says you're going to have these really intense feelings that you don't know why. You just know. And she says these feelings are going to become more deep and more intense and more very specific to the guidance that is needed for you in that moment. Then the second aura is an energy field where they have a lot of ocean starlight around you, so you are expanding more of that. LA, thank you for joining. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming in. Brenda, they're just showing starlight of ocean starlight coming in. So dreams are going to be way more stronger, and that's going to come in to you.
Gorgeous. Yeah, and the surrounding kind of like supportive cape around exactly what Kelliena said there for me was I keep feeling like what is actually cool energy to you because I feel like you have an appreciation for it and right now you're learning how to be comfortable in that. And I think that actual confidence is being comfortable in it. And when we're still too impacted by the outside voice, which is so natural for all of us, until we kind of figure out the true kind of definitions of who we are, like what is cool to you? Because I feel like follow what is cool to you. Um, so when you're inspired by certain art, when you're inspired by certain sayings, when you're inspired by certain looks aesthetically, when you're wondering about your gifts in this regard, what is cool to you that's sincere and what was sincere about it and what is your sincere connection that is a mirror to that. There's a never forcing, it's only flow when it's genuine. Um, and I think really looking at the cool factor of, when something's actually cool, it's like to me, the people who are the most relaxed or comfortable or put people at ease, like that's really cool to me. I'm like, you actually care about making other people feel comfortable. That's really cool to me. And it's not showy. It's just, it just is. So for you, m- the energy that they showed was more like, it was like sunglasses. It was very like, what is cool to you, especially with spirit. And I would follow that, but and I think you have this experience because you are there already, but be less influenced by how other people said it and more, why are you drawn to it and speak that truth and let that shine.
That's perfect. My phone is I just gotta warn my I don't know why, but I think my battery I just gotta warn my I think my phone's gonna go. I don't know why.
Oh
Of course,
no.
why not? Of
Thank
course.
you, Kelliena.
That that was
If we're going,
beautiful.
bye.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you
there's Angel
all.
there, guys. If you guys want to follow
Yeah,
her,
bye,
of course,
Angel.
Danielle
Follow
and
her.
Monica, everyone, Tracy, everyone, just thank you so much. And
Monica and Everglow Metaphysical.
thank you, Monica. We love you
Yes.
guys all, and thank you so much. And we'll do this again for sure. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelliena. Bye, all.
Bye bye.
Ciao. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.